Hi, everybody. This week, we're going to talk about a Confluence add-on feature, as we were saying earlier. It gives the page viewers table filtering and chart building capabilities on tables, much like what you see and you use in spreadsheet type applications such as Excel. Sorry, there we go. We'll change that up. So my plan tonight is first give a brief overview of Confluence, table filters and charts functionality, and then go into the application and demo a couple of workflows. So I've assumed, and I'm glad I made this sort of function, that most of you are somewhat familiar with the Confluence product, and if not, maybe that's another discussion for another night. Let me know. So let me take a quick step back. For those of you who aren't familiar, Confluence is web-based corporate wiki. It's used by teams to create, share, collaborate, and organize work all in one place. It's very similar to SharePoint. Some places use it as a knowledge management or content management system, but mostly it's a wiki, and it's very easy to use. It is an Atlassian product, and so it's often purchased and paired with other Atlassian planning and code management products like Jira and Bitbucket. So, all right, this particular plugin is a 3-feature bundle, and it includes your ability to filter tables, much like what you do in Excel. Confluence will call these more like macros. So we have the chart macro, which is your ability to create tables or create charts from your tables. And then you also have the pivot table. I mean, the cool thing about them is users can do it on the fly. They can create them in advance. If you've ever applied filters to Excel spreadsheets, you're completely comfortable with this functionality. The same goes for here. If you've ever used PowerPoint or Excel and you've built charts, various charts, line charts, bar charts, Gantt charts, and so on, you can do that from here as well. And lastly, the pivot tables, which you can just manipulate and aggregate data to tell your particular story. So this macro is great for like management reports and creating dashboards reading Confluence. So that's the quick high level. Let's take a look at what it actually does. And once you see it, I think you'll understand, you'll get what I'm saying when it's an Excel-like application or feature. I'm going to pause you for a second while I launch the application. Okay, hopefully you guys can see.
Yes, we can.
The Confluence. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to talk about the table filters first. So you're looking at your standard Confluence page. Page content is created underneath this page in what's called edit view. You just click in here, create your content, and it's only visible to people in page view, which is what we're looking at right now, once it's saved or published out. The filters can be added, these particular filters can be added to your tables in edit view when you're creating the table, or in line directly in page view after the table is created and published. So for today's demo, all of my demos will be done in page view because it's simpler and faster. But just be aware that there is additional functionality, advanced functionality available if you do it through the edit view. So I've already created a table. All right, out of the box, you have the ability to sort. It's basic sorting. If you have the table add-on macro, your viewers gain that extra sort of Excel functionality like filtering. And let's take a look. To add a filter, you're going to scroll across here, and this is how you know your particular firm has the additional add-on, because you're going to see the 3 bundle right here. You're going to see where we see filter data, pivot tables, and charts, and we'll do the other 2 shortly. So we're going to come over, we're going to hit filter data, and voila. I'm going to select add filter. You're going to get a control panel. Everything in the control panel, the various settings are driven by the filter type. The filter type is how you're going to filter your columns. You can do drop down, which is a column filter. You're going to select what you're looking for, free text, numbers, date. You can do it by range, hide columns, which is really cool when you have a large page with a lot of columns and you want to reduce everything so that you can view it all in one place. All right. Now, as the page owner, I can set up these filters and then I would save them out so that when the next person comes to view the table, they'll have filters that are set up. The settings will be set up. We give them their range and they can go ahead and filter on a table. So I'm looking at a table and I'm trying to decide what exactly would my viewer be interested in looking at. So let's just create a couple of filters. So I'm thinking they'll probably want to sort by last name if they're looking for somebody in particular. So it's a drop down and then I'm going to do it on last name, add filter. And that pops up here in your box. I'm going to add a couple of more, add filter. Maybe I'm going to want to sort by a drop down by products bought. I want to see what they bought. I've added that. Those are both column filters. Let's say that I'm interested in hiding some columns because there's a lot of columns and maybe I don't need all of them. I don't have a lot of options for that. And I can do date ranges. I can add a date range in here if I'm interested. Date filter, and this is the part I always forget, is that I do need to do the date range on the date purchase column. You want to make sure that your formatting is the same or else everything ends up getting funky. And that's it. I've established what settings, what I want to do. I hit save changes. It means the next person that comes out here, they have the ability to now just kind of sort. So if I'm looking for a person in particular, I'm looking for customer name, Hardy. Last name is Hardy. This is everything that Hardy purchased in the last couple of years since we've created the table. What products purchased? Maybe I'm not interested in Hardy. Maybe I want to know everybody, but I want to see, oh, who bought knickers? Oh, these guys did. Maybe I'm not interested if it's a huge table. I want to hide some information. I really am not that interested in street addresses at the moment. I just bought some more screen rail estate from there. And the same thing with date range. I can say who purchased something May 1st. To here. I'm going to get rid of the knickers and I'll get a bigger sorting. So that's basically, after all of that. Now let's just say, let's say we want to do something opposite. You want to remove one of these filters. I really don't need this. I'm going to throw that out. It's gone. Again, I can save that. And maybe I'm going to come back and I want to say product bought, but I want to see everything except knickers. Now it extracts knickers and I can see everything else. That's pretty cool. Again, it should look familiar if you've used any type of spreadsheet filtering tools, and it gives the viewer that extra kind of power to display and search for information that they're interested in. Okay, so now we're going to take a look. Let's shoot over to the next screen. I want to give you a charts demo right here. So again, we're looking at another table of data. We know that we can create the tables in edit mode. We publish it out. Just like the filter, we can add the macro or add the macro either in the back end or we can do it in the front. And again, we come over here and we have our options. So we're going for charts this time, and that should be create a chart from a data series. Click that. And oh, look, we have a pie chart, which is actually the default. We still have our table of data down here, but sometimes depending on the size of the page, it'll shift below. But and the control panel is up here. So again, for this type of for this particular macro, the type is what drives the various settings that you can set up. Table information will display on here. We can, since we're on pie, we might as well play a little bit about with this. You can make it into a 3D pie. Maybe you want to show the other quarters to compare information. I mean, there's probably a better, I think a bar chart or a column chart might be a better way to compare information, but you know, who knows, whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. Let's get rid of the 3D. If you want, you can even extract. So if you have an interactive sort of demo, a presentation, and you want to play around with the chart on the fly, you can extract and show people data that way. The same thing, you could do the bar column. You can do the same thing with stacked. And so on. Again, depending on what your data is, what will be what you put in there is what you can extract out from it. So with this, that doesn't really work well with the data that I provided here. Mine is more of a simple table. Okay, that's pretty much with the chart macro. There, again, are also some advanced settings that are available in Edit View, and from there you can do, as you would do in Excel or PowerPoint, where you can change colors, modify the labels, you want to move the legend around someplace, adjust the axis of scaling, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, one last demo to show you. Pivot tables. Okay, pivot tables. This is one of those great management tools. Managers like them, business side likes these as well. The value add with this particular macro is that it offers the viewer, the reader, the ability to manipulate data from within a single table in different ways to tell different stories, really, based on what the viewer wants to emphasize is basically it. This one's an easier, again, they're all very easy, very intuitive. But with this one, again, sorry, move this around. The mouse sort of froze a little. Okay, sorry. So with this one, again, you create the table in Edit View, publish it out. You have the ability to add the macros either when you created it or at the end. And of course, we're going to do it this way. We scroll across the top, create the pivot table, and we have the control panel again. Count in this case is the default, and the operation type is what will drive your settings, what will display as a setting. So by default, we're looking at count, which is the total number of lines, really. In this case, it's the total number of transactions. Let's say we want to look at the sum of all the transactions. What we would do is we would come in here and we just do count and add sum. Now we know there are 11 and the total amount of these transactions over $500. Let's say we want to look at that by agent. How much did each agent make or sell? Now we know Bryant had 6 for $2,100. Cecile had 2 sales for $1,300. Again, you're extracting data depending on or based on whatever it is you want. Let's say you want it by agent across a date range. Your agent, the amount. I'm going to get rid of this count. That's just too messy, and that's not what I'm looking at. That's 8. So now I'm looking across all of the dates which have been entered in the table and where all the sales fell and by whom. If I'm interested in an average of some type, pop it around, and let's just throw in average. Now I'm looking at the average sales across the transaction types, the various transactions. Maybe I'm interested in minimum maximum by agent. And then, and so on and so forth. I mean, that's basically the pivot table, so it's kind of a cool thing. So, I mean, really, basically, those are the demos I wanted to show you today, just to give you just a high-level overview of what you can do in Confluence. I would think some takeaways for this demo would be that it's a 3-bundle table, filter, and charts macros, the name. It is an add-on functionality. These macros are really, as you can see, they were very easy to work with, manipulate information. And if you've ever worked with spreadsheet or PowerPoint charts, Excel charts, you can figure it out. It's easy to figure out even when you're in here and you're putting in the wrong labels in the wrong place. You can quickly figure out where the problem is and then fix it on the fly. So again, at a high level, Confluence, the table filter and charts macro, and I would recommend it. It saved me a few times. I had a monster table that a spreadsheet from Excel that I had to import, and it was about 1,600 lines, maybe 20 columns. And without this filter, it would have been completely unusable. There would have been no way anybody could have extracted the information they needed from that, because not with just a simple sort, out of the box sort.